Hey everyone, long time no see. I know it's been a minute, but I wanted to come on here real quick and share some of my favorite journaling items with you all. I had a couple of people asking me what do I use when I journal, but I think what would be more appropriate is what do I take with me when I go journal to a specific place like a cafe or a coffee shop. So I thought that would be the more at that appropriate question to ask, because that's where I usually do a lot of my journaling, just to get inspired and check out different places. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. I usually go ahead and use, as of lately, this Superior Labor canvas pouch. My lovely friend Sachio sent me this over from Japan, and I'd been eyeing it for a minute. And I think the closest place to me that usually has these is like Baumkuchen. But I'd gone there on several occasions and they were out of stock. So she was kind enough to send this over. And yeah, this is where I usually put all of my things that I take with me on a journaling date with myself. So let's go ahead and open it up, shall we? So I usually put in another little pouch or bag because I like to separate my my fountain pens from all the other stuff I have. But in this little pouch, I also usually put a couple of stamps and stamp pads. So in this case, I have this. I think I have the wrong way. It's actually from Baumkuchen, and it says imagination will take you anywhere. So there's that. And then I also have, I'm not sure where this is from, but it's one of my favorites. It's like you can tell somebody's either like cafe journaling or so. And then I have this one as well. One of my favorites. It says, it's okay to be a little obsessed with stationery, which in my case, it's a lot. And then this, I'm not sure where it's from, but it really comes in handy when I'm journaling. And then of course, my go-tos, these like small ink pads. This is a brown that I use a lot. And then also this Sachihara black stamp pad. And of course, my go-tos, which is my Lamy Safari All-Star. And I think I have this inked up with Noodler's ink. And it's some kind of like gray, I think. This has been like my workhorse fountain pen, as you can tell. It's like always in rotation. And then this is my TWSBI, and I think I have it inked up with, I'm not sure where the ink is from, but it's called Cafe Crema, or I'm not sure if that's like the name of the pen. Anyway, I've been using this one a lot lately as well. And then finally, this bad boy right here, I gifted it to myself last year for my birthday. It's been one of my favorite purchases, stationery-wise. It's a Pilot Vanishing Point. So for those of you all who are not familiar, obviously most pens that, they come with a cap, and that's how, it prevents your pens or the ink in your pens from drying. But the vanishing point, you don't need that because it just has a little mechanism, and it has like this little door, so when you click it, there's something in there, so it kind of closes up. It's like a little trap door. It closes back up, so you don't have to worry about your pen drying out. And it's like a matte black. It has like this beautiful matte finish, and it even has this little clip here. I don't know if you can see, which makes it really useful for me. So those are some of the fountain pens that I use. And so that's it for this little pouch. Like I said, I put it in into the superior labor. And then I always, because I love watercoloring and I just plopping down some watercolor in my spreads, I have this. It's Traveler's Notebook collaboration with Art Toolkit. I think I got it like 2 years ago. Might still be available on the Traveler's Company website. And these are my colors. As you can see, it's super well used. I pretty much use it every time I journal, I think. So that really comes in handy for me. And then, of course, I have these little brushes, water brushes. I think this is like Pentel. These really come in handy. And then, of course, for me, I always need washi on hand when I'm journaling, right? Even if it's just like quote unquote planning for me, I just like to like throw in some color. And I feel like washi, aside from like colored pens or pencils, is like the best way to add some color and character to your pages. So my washi cards, these washi cards, actually someone asked me about it. You can order them on Amazon. If you don't want to have to like go out of your way and spend extra money, you can also use like old credit cards or gift cards, and you could just wrap your washi around those and have yourself some washi cards. But this is what I always bring with me as well. And of course I have to have a tape runner. This isn't a fancy tape runner anything. It's from my local Daiso. You can't beat a $1.75 for one of these. Comes in really handy. And let's see, I love doing brush lettering, and so the Tombow brush pens are perfect for that. It's a dual tip, so you have this right here where it's like the brush tip, right? But then you also have this here. And for me, I like to carry these around because you can use it to highlight. You can use it to, do some brush lettering. And yeah, there's so many different uses for these. And then like if I stamp something and I want to go ahead and add some color, I usually use my Tombows for that. So I'm never without these when I go and journal somewhere. So these, very important. And then of course, you always need clips, at least I do, to hold down my pages. It's really, really useful. And for me at this point, it's kind of necessary, especially if your journals or planners or whatever get kind of bulky. These end up being kind of necessary. So, and these are Penco. And they're so inexpensive. I think they go for like $4 each. So very, very useful. And oh, speaking of clips, my sister was actually kind enough to get this for me. I think we went to M. Lovewell out here in Santa Ana, because I'm in Southern California, and I'd seen, I think it was Job's journal with one of these, and it looked pretty sturdy. And I was thinking about trying one of these because I'm always looking for clips that are sturdier, just because sometimes my journals do get a little bit bulky, and I want things to last as long as possible. So when I saw this, I was like, oh my goodness, this is like the brand that I've been looking at. And so my sister got this for me, and it's a brass clip and it's super sturdy. So this has been really, really helpful when I go on my journaling dates. And then of course, a good pair of scissors. I think I got these from Amazon. They're like, I believe someone told me they're like sewing scissors, but they come in really handy. So, and also if you have to go on a trip and you have to get on a plane, I think these are safe to take with you because they're not really that big. I think they have to be a certain size, but I think these you can take on a plane with you, but don't quote me on that. And then of course, for me, having a ruler, always a must. You never know when you're going to need it. And this actually is one of the, look, use it too much. And of course I always like stain them, or you know, there's a lot of wear and tear on my items, but that's because I use them often. This one's the Traveler's Company brass ruler. I really, really like this. It's really handy. It's really sturdy. And it's really compact. So I always have this on hand with me. And of course, need some glue. And of course, like I said, with all of my things, because I use them so often, you can tell by looking at them. So there's a lot of wear and tear. This, it's called glue. I'm not sure if it's a Japanese brand, but it's really, really good. I like the way it works, and it really is like not just tacky, but once you put it on, like, let's say a piece of paper, use it, like, they're not gonna move. Sometimes when I've used other glue sticks, eventually, like, the paper starts to separate, but so far I haven't had that happen to me with this. And so this is where you like turn it, and so it has a little square top, but then this is the actual top. So, and I like it because most other glue sticks are round, and so for me, like when I'm working with edges, this ends up working out perfect. So I could get like every like corner. So this is, you know, like a must-have. And then of course, I always like to have an assortment of pens with me. So one of the things that I'm always never without is like the Sakura markers or pens. This is I think a 2, so this is more like a heavy marker. And then I have some, I think this is also Tombow. This is specifically for brush lettering. I believe it's Tombow Fude no Suke. I'm pretty sure that I butchered that, but anyway, most people in the journaling community know about these, and it's perfect. They're completely inexpensive, and it's perfect if you want to like start brush lettering or want to explore that. I think I would definitely recommend you get this. And so again, this is another Sakura pen. Let's see, it's a 0.5, so let's see if it's not that thick and it's not that thin, so it's a perfect size. And then I always like to have a nice black pen on hand, and this is like, I think it's the Uniball. I'm not sure if it's a Jetstream, but it's the one pen. I don't know if you guys can see that. Sorry about the terrible lighting. It's a really overcast day right now, and I'm trying to get like some kind of natural lighting, but you know, it's proven to be a little bit harder than I thought. So anyway, that's why the lighting is so off, but this is a pen. And then I always like to use these gel pens from your Sakura as well, but these are the metallic ones, and this gold, I'm never without it. If you want to add some like nice character or just some flair to your journal pages, or if you do like some kind of art project, or sometimes I do like greeting cards with my nieces, or you know, this comes in really handy, this little gel pen from Sakura. And then also I later discovered these gel pens from Sakura as well, but these are, it's called Moonlit or Moonlight, and the finish on these is so unreal. I really like them. It's not matte, but it's almost like this glossy finish, and it almost looks like it jumps off the page, so it kind of like gives it like a 3D effect in some way. So ever since I discovered these, I always use them in my journal spreads. So these, and then of course this is a new one I just discovered like a couple of months ago. It's the Zebra Click Art. So it's one of these. See, neighborhood dogs, they're going nuts. Excuse me just a moment. Okay, I'm back, you guys. So that pretty much is it for whatever fits in this pouch. What I usually end up bringing that's not in my pouch is usually some kind of letter stamp, and the ones that I've been using lately are the ones that my friend sent me. And these are Sachi Hara as well. And I like it because this is just the letters, right? But also sent me over the numbers. So these come in really, really handy. I love using stamps, specifically like letter stamps. I feel like they always add so much like character and just like a different look to my journaling spreads and just, you know, planning. They really come in handy. It's not just like, you know, for aesthetic purposes, but it really can come in handy. So these are a must for me. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. A bag like this, and just to let you guys know, like, I know Superior Labor runs a little bit on the expensive side, but you don't need to spend a whole lot to get a useful canvas bag, or just like a bag to put all of your journaling supplies in. Like, there are some like generic brands, like basic. You could look at Amazon, your local Daiso. There's just so many different places that you can get one of these pouches, and they're super handy. They're durable, you know, but the point is for you to have something durable that you will put to good use and that you can fit all of your supplies in. So that's what this is for me. But in addition to letting you guys see what I usually have in my pouch, I wanted to go ahead and show you how I tend to use my supplies. So I'm not going to give you guys a full-blown journaling flip through, but I will let you guys in on some of, like I said, the tips and tricks how I end up using my supplies. Okay, so of course, one of the first ways that I always use my supplies is in my traveler's notebooks inserts. I barely started using this cover that my friend sent me over, which is something that I've wanted for a long time. It's the Starbucks Reserve traveler's notebook cover, and it's gorgeous. So I just barely moved some of my traveler's inserts here, and I'm using the vertical diary insert. And so for this kind of insert, let's see, what is a good, okay, so I think this is a perfect spread. So I usually do a lot of stickers. There go the stamps, right, that I use, stamps. Then you see this, well, don't mind that, that's pretty horrible lettering, but you know, it's okay. We mess up and we move on, and you know, we learn. But this is what I use my markers for, something like this. Like I said, more stamping. And then you see this stamp in particular. This is actually, like I said, the Baumkuchen one, but I use some of my Tombos to like fill in. I wanted a little bit more color, and so that's what I did. Oh, look, this particular stamp that I used. Oh, let's see. So another stamp. And you see a lot of the different colored like inks. It's usually like, this is a fountain pen. But what I really wanted to show you guys is like this. So this is a fountain pen, but it really adds a lot of like character to my pages. So yeah, don't be, you know, scared to like add color. I mean, obviously it depends on the kind of look you're going for, the kind of aesthetic you like, but I do a little bit of everything. So like I said, a lot of stamping, and that's pretty much it for this. And like I said, I just barely like migrated that cover. I mean, that insert over to this cover. But I've also been working on some other inserts because I like to work on multiple inserts at one time. Good Lord, it feels like I'm featuring everything that my friend has sent me. So thank you, Sachi. But this is the Kyoto Traveler's Notebook cover. And so I've been using that a lot lately. And this is just one of the little folders from the Traveler's Company. I think I've showed you how I use them. But this in particular, And these are the 2 traveler's notebook inserts that I'm using. This is an actual TRC insert. And this one, someone sent it to me. I got something from someone's D-stash on Instagram, and they also sent me this lovely little notebook, and it's Tomoe River paper. So if you guys know anything about me or haven't heard, I really like using Tomoe River paper because it's fountain pen friendly, and it also takes up watercolor pretty well. This insert, excuse the graphic language, but it's a craft paper, right? So it's very porous, but again, I think this is like a good option if you want to go more like the scrapbooking route or do more memory keeping. I mean, it's an excellent book for writing as well, but you know, I pretty much don't hold myself to any strict rules when it comes to journaling. So let me show you a specific page in here. So, you know, a little bit of scraps in there and writing. So that's how I tend to use this book. And then this one is the same thing, except that this one, like I said, it features Tomoe River paper. And, you know, again, this is the Tombow markers that I talked about. And this page features like some watercolor as well. And then more watercolor. Let's see, more watercolor. And this is like stamps and Tombow. Like you're going to see a lot of watercolor in some of the stamps from the Traveler's Notebook. The Traveler's Company usually does something called a stamp caravan, where they go to different parts of the world. So they'll go to like to Europe or some parts of Asia, and they'll hit up different stationery stores where they will take their like stamps, like their original stamps, like you can't get them anywhere else, and you know, take your stuff with you, your inserts or your covers, and some people will even stamp their covers. So that's where I get those kinds of stamps. But anyway, actually this is one of their stamps too. Have a good day, good music, good coffee, and a good notebook. And then this is one of my favorite spreads from this notebook so far. So I jump all over the place, as you can see. And then I love featuring like different kinds of paper. This is like a type of acetate. So I just stick it in there, use some like tape, some washi or some clear tape, and stick it in there. Yeah. And of like, you know, different stickers from different places. So, and of course stamps. So that's how I've been using those. And this is an older one. It took me a minute to like really complete this particular insert because it's not a TRC insert, but it's a Traveler's Notebook insert. And it features Tomoe River paper, but I think it had like 90 pages. So it's a lot. It took me a minute. And so again, watercolor, I'm trying to find places where it can show you. So this is a good example of this is just me doing random numbers for the day, and I use color pencil to fill that in. And then this right there, that's again Tombow brush markers, and of course I use watercolor. And let's see, washi, watercolor, and just like a lot of different things. Let's see, I'm trying to find something. Oh, look, I always use stuff like this. That's like a chocolate like bar wrapper. And oh, look, this is actually a photo that I took when I visited Bamkuhen, I think 2 years ago with my sister. And this is the lovely Wakako. Anyway, that's a cute little, and this is actually, this washi down here is a Bamkuhen washi as well. So yeah, so these are some of the ways that I use some of the items that I usually bring with me on a journaling day. Or, you know, I don't even have to go anywhere specific. Sometimes I'll just move to different areas of the house. Sometimes I'll journal in the living room or the kitchen. And it's just nice to have all of my things in one, you know, place, so I don't have to like worry about bringing a bunch of different things. And it's nice when you're able to do that because you only need an item like this, right? The last thing that I do want to show you guys is, this is the Hobonichi that I've been working in. I know I said I'm working on a flip through, which I am. I just really got busy with life and I haven't had a whole lot of time for, you know, creating content or honestly to journal like I would want to. Anyway, but I have been working out of this, and this is because it is Hobonichi paper and it is an A5, so the notebook is bigger. It gives me a lot more freedom to create or do a little bit more memory keeping than the other notebooks that I use. So again, because this is not a real Hobonichi, I went ahead and I did like the months and the dates. So I'll give you a little peek. This right here, these little Snoopy calendars, my friend, again, she's gonna be featured all over this this video. These are from Japan, and they really came in handy because I was actually gonna do these little kinds of calendars by hand. Most planners have a page that's called A Year at a Glance, and they'll have like the entire year. But she sent me these stickers and I was like, this is perfect. I don't have to spend time doing all of these months and dates by hand. So I just plopped these here. And of course, I thought that this phrase was going to be something, I was just going to be a one-time thing, right? Like people usually try to come up with a word of the year or like a theme of the year or mantra. And I think this is just going to be my sentiment for the rest of my life. Live with gratitude and be intentional. I think that just should be something that I wake up with, you know, every day and kind of like have in, you know, in the front of my mind. So yeah, so I decided that this should be some kind of a cover title page. And then of course I did these little trackers. I haven't been keeping up with my trackers. Not in this book, but I have kept up with trackers in another notebook of mine. I don't know if I want to like transfer it over just so, you know, these pages can be used up. You know, that takes time. So I don't know. We'll see. But all of this is done by hand. And then I did the months as well. All of these months are done by hand. And this is the February one. So I like to, again, decorate a lot with stickers and washi. So I did these by hand. And so a lot of these different like colors, some of them are like the Sakura markers that I talked about. And then one of the things that I did want to show you guys that I did is I've been working on, I always try to do a reading challenge for myself, usually 52 books in a year, a book, you know, a week. And for this page, I use the Sakura black markers, right, to draw the letters, and I use the Tombow brush pens to fill them in. And of course I did my little list. But this right here, this bookshelf, is actually a stamp. I think it's from Hero Arts, I'm not sure, but you know, instead of me spending my time trying to draw something, I just, you know, inked it up and plopped it on the page. And I mean, I like how it looks. And so then I'll show you, like I said, I'm not going to do a flip through, but I'll show you guys a couple of pages where I really do incorporate all of the supplies that I just showed you guys. So I do a lot of, like I said, memory keeping, scrapbooking. And so these are the Tombow brushes. This is actually, I believe, a fountain pen. Some stickers, some photos of my friends and myself. And then this will be the last page that I show you guys. So these are just like, you know, found items, right? I went to a cafe to do some work and I ended up journaling, and this is part of their menu. So I I cut it out, you know, with my trusty little scissors, and then I use this gluing stick and I, you know, put some glue behind this and I stuck it in there. And these right here, again, I use the Sakura pen slash felt tip marker to draw the letters, and then I color them in with the Tombow markers. And yeah, so that's basically how I use my supplies. And I know for some people who aren't used to doing this kind of work, it might seem like a lot. And if you're just starting out, you don't need all of these supplies, right? You can definitely start off with, you know, things that catch your eyes, but they don't have to be expensive. You can go to your local Dollar Tree or like 99-cent store, Daiso, what have you, and you'll find a lot of stuff that works as well. Like you can find a little compact, I think, watercolor stuff, good pens, again, a good ruler, some scissors. You will even find clips, not obviously this brand, but clips to help you with your pages. A lot of places now will feature washi, but especially if you have a Daiso near you, they have a lot of washi and it's fairly inexpensive. So if you want to try out washi, I definitely recommend you hit up stores like Daiso. You know, nice little tape runner, very useful. And that's basically it. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of money if you're just starting out. All you need is a good pen that you like this, and a notebook, which is this, right? And a blank page. Well, almost blank. See? So it really depends the kind of journaling that you want to do. I like exploring different methods, different things that I like to do with my journals. But that's just me. You don't have to do all of that. But yeah, so this is how I usually use my supplies. I showed you guys some examples. Yeah, so this is it. Let me know how you guys go ahead and journal, or what supplies you think are like, you know, a must for every journaler. Let me know how you journal, if you know, like doing that at home or like going out to a cafe. Anyway, I'm really interested in knowing how everyone, you know, spends their time journaling, or like, you know, their process. Anyway, thank you so much for staying with me through the duration of this video. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.